Dusty and his magic dustpan.
I play Lizzie, and she is really smart and like way smarter than her age, and she's not shy with anybody, which is definitely not like me. Lizzie won a contest that the show Dusty was having, and the whole thing of the show problem is that she won the contest, but Marianne wouldn't let her on because she has two dads.
Dusty in the Big Bad World was written by Kuzi Cram, who actually is a television producer slash writer, or was, so to speak, on a PBS show named Arthur. And the show is basically inspired by an event that happened back in 2005 from a spin-off series from Arthur called Postcards from Buster. And basically the show had some subject material that caused a little bit of controversy, sent some ripples throughout Washington, D.C. And the show, obviously being a publicly funded show, had its funding threatened. And so the playwright was therefore inspired to write this piece, which we're doing now. And it's really kind of a commentary on the events that happened, not necessarily a retelling, but it's also very much about the journeys of five very individual and unique characters as they find their way through the quote-unquote big bad world.
Creating Dusty, helping our prop master, Rona Mensa, work on some of these props was really fun. What I did was, you kind of hear about Dusty throughout the play, what he's like. Several characters describe him, and you kind of get a sense of his personality as well. So we had a poster design that had the character of Dusty on it. So I took a look at that first to kind of see what the thought was there. Thought about the different ideas in the play that the characters talk about Dusty. Talked to our director Jim about his thoughts and what he felt like, and then kind of took a look at some different animated characters and their features and what worked best in terms of toy versus television versus animation. So it was kind of fun.
In the show, Nathan is a TV producer who works with Julie Herber's character, and she is his boss, and they have a good relationship. It's a little tense sometimes because of Nathan. He's very high-strung. He's a liberal Democrat, and he feels very strongly about who he is and what that means. And when it all comes down to this show being canceled for the reason that it's being canceled, that really sets him off because it goes very much against his ideals.
Who would want to cancel this show? Huh? Who would want to cancel this show? Marianne.
Well, she truly believes in everything that she believes in. I mean, she believes in it with all her heart. She's not a bad person. I don't see her as a bad person. Some people might. But she's driven by her heart and by her faith, and she truly believes that her thoughts are right and that she's doing good for the world and good for children, which is her passion, is children and taking care of them. And there's a lot that goes into discovering someone like that. You know, she's a politician, so I watched a lot of politicians, especially women politicians. She's from South Carolina, so the big part of that was, you know, her background in South Carolina and getting that accent, which is very specific, which I started out with a Texas accent, which was completely wrong. So, you know, there's a lot of aspects that I had to really look into and do some research on. But she's lovable to me because she's good at heart. She means well.
I think the reason that the ensemble at Maryland Ensemble Theater selected this play is because it was different from a lot of other plays that we were looking at. It was a comedy that dealt with the government and art together, and I thought that was something that interested us, while still, you know, it's not preachy to you, but it's very funny. It takes a lot of the different angles from, shows all different sides of the issue, and I think that that overall the company found that enjoyable to read, and it was different from many of the other scripts that come across the desk. So I think that's probably what drew us to it.
I'm playing Karen. She is a quirky, edgy character in the show. She is also very independent. She kind of likes to stand out in the crowd. She likes to wear big, bold colors, and she doesn't like to be one of the crowd. And as well as being edgy and quirky and very complex, she also has like a childlike soul to her, and so she likes Sesame Street and Bugs Bunny and SpongeBob. And throughout the show, she wants acceptance and understanding from other people, her boss and other people around her, and personally too. She wants understanding, and she wants to be able to not rely on other things to make her happy or to make her self-assured. So she gains a lot of reassurance in herself throughout the show. So it's kind of interesting to play a complex character like that.
And so the costumes, of course, I talked to our director, Jim Page, discussing what his thoughts were. This is a contemporary play, so we're dealing with today's world. Kind of the fun part of it is that there are several different worlds within the play. There's the world of government and what goes on inside, the walls of the White House and certain standards there. We're in the corporate world. We are in sort of the tense world of television producers and writers, which is a whole different environment. We have a nice, fun, quirky, delightful character in Karen, who has an artistic background, so her sort of sense of fashion is going to come from a different place. And then we have a funky, fresh, precocious 11-year-old to clothe. So I had, a great time sort of investigating those worlds, and then watching the actors in rehearsal, how they were developing their characters, seeing how they lived throughout their worlds, and trying to figure out through what they were bringing to me as a designer, ideas to clothe them. So I had fun doing that.
We originally found it when our associate artistic director, Julie Herber, ran across the script, and Janae Fouché also kind of had heard from somebody that we should do this play. They saw it in Denver. We actually had one of our students do a monologue from it in a class. So it seemed like that from a bunch of different angles, people were saying, take a look at this play. So then Julie got a hold of the playwright. She sent a copy of the script, and we read it. Found it to be a really funny yet poignant script, so it seemed like a winner for us.